Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Python Freaks. So I hope by this time you might have read the title by now. And yes, we are gonna continue our tutorial on Selenium. And today's video is very specific about the Python knowledge that is required for starting web automation in Selenium. So with this particular video, my goal would be to explain you about the core elements and concepts which is required for web automation with respect to Python in a very simplified manner. And yes, there might be a chance that in the middle of the video, you might think that the things are going very theoretical, but would again request you to hear me out and watch the video till the very end, as this concept might not make full sense if you watch it now. But with my coming videos on Selenium, I am sure that all the concept which I'm explaining in this video will definitely make sense and would be very helpful in your journey of learning this web automation with Python and Selenium. And yes, not to mention, there are many videos with respect to Selenium in queue, in which we will actually deep dive in Selenium on how can we automate from simple to complex scenario. So without any further delay, let's start the video. So here is the content for today with respect to Python. Now, these are just the basic concepts of Python, but still it's very important to get through this concept initially before you actually dive into Selenium. And trust me, if you're able to grasp this mentioned thing, whatever you can see on the screen, then your overall journey will be actually very simplified with respect to Selenium. And yes, there might be few things like you might be feeling that these things are missing, but you don't need to worry about that, because whatever, like, these are just the basic concept for Python which I'm covering in this video, and whatever is not covered we will be taking in our coming videos. Actually, there are three four more videos with respect to Selenium, and that will be actually the core part of Selenium. So all those things are also coming, so whatever is not covered here will be taken care in that particular video. So let me give you a basic idea how these things are gonna happen. So what we will do, like, we will just first try to understand this concept, and then at the later stage, like at the end of the video, I will show you how this entire thing works via code. So I will be showing you a real-time demo in the Python IDE, like we will be using PyCharm, and there I will explain you practically how this, like, Python concepts are happening. So, without any further delay, let's start with the first topic. What is a Python package and how to use it? So, before understanding Python package, let's quickly understand what actually a module is. So, module is basically a combination of a function, classes, variables which can be reused. Understand the definition here. Combination of function, classes, variables which can be reused. So, what do you mean by this? Let's say you are automating a test case for any search engine. Let's say we are automating test case for Google. So to search anything at a very top level, what are the steps for it? Open the Chrome browser, or as a matter of fact, any browser. Okay, open any web browser, enter the website URL, wait for the web page to load. Once the web page is loaded, enter your search query or parameter, and then hit the enter button. So this is at a very top level, the 4 or 5 basic steps which you which is there if you want to test a search engine. Now, in this particular case, since we are testing a search engine, so majority of test case will be around searching things. So what we can do here is, like, we can write functions which will take care of the first the first 5 steps which we explained, like opening the browser, entering the website URL, waiting for the web page to load, and then entering the search parameter, enter button. So this is one of the most common tasks. So what we can do, we can automate this function. So this is actually just a very basic function which is required by a search engine. Now, similarly, there can be a lot and lot of functions which can come into picture when we want to test a search engine. So what we will do, we can write all these things in a particular functions. Whatever functions is required to test a search engine, we will write that in one Python file, and we will take care of all the data and like everything. And we can this entire thing will be called as a module. So I hope by this time you are like clear with the concept of module. So, one last thing about the module, that module can be something which you can import, or which you can write itself. Like whatever the mentioned steps is there, you can yourself write the Python code for interacting from browser to Python. How are you gonna establish a connection? Entire thing you can do it, and you can import a functions like which is pre-written before this. Okay, so basically there are two types of module. First is user defined, like where you will write a module from scratch, from everything, and then you will import it. Or you can use a already written module which is written by someone, and for simplicity you can just blindly use it. So now coming to package, what is a Python package? So Python package is usually a collection of several modules. In simple terms, Python is a like Python package is a folder containing modules and many other subfolders or submodules. So conceptually, it's actually a namespace which we are using to store sub packages, modules, and submodules. Now, how to use a module, or like how to use a package, how to install a Python package, I will just briefly tell you how all those things are happening in our like coming part. Just at the end, I will show you from scratch how to install a Python package, how to use it, and like if you want a detailed concept on this Python package, I can make that also in my coming video. So let's move to the next part, which is arguments in Python. So before understanding what is argument, let's first try to understand what actually function is. And to understand function, let me take you to the IDE. So now if I show you the function, how function is created and how the arguments is passed, then things will be more clear. Okay, so first let's try to understand what actually function is. So if we go by the bookish definition, then it will be like a function is basically a block of organized reusable code that is used to perform some single or some related action. Now, what the first thing is, like, why do we use a function? So function provides us a better modularity. So by modularity, what we mean is, suppose a big task is there, we can decompose, or we can split out that big chunk of task into multiple small fragments, and then individually we can write that function to perform that particular smaller task which is integrated from that bigger task. So in short, if I have to say what function is, like, it will be a function is basically a group of related statement that performs some specific task independently. So I hope that by this time the definition of function is clear. Now, if it is not clear, I will just show you live in the IDE, and will explain you what actually function is, how the arguments is passed. So let's come to the next part, which is argument. So what is argument? So argument is nothing but the information or data that is required by a function for its processing. Let's take the previous example only and try to understand everything bit by bit. So the task which we took previously was to automate a search engine. So to automate a search engine, what is the first thing you need? The first thing which you need is a website or a URL or the particular search engine like on which we will search our query. So in our case, it's google.com, but it can be Bing also, it can be Yahoo also. So the function or the task is to open a search engine and search whatever, like whatever your query is. Like suppose if you want to learn Python, then you will just write the search query will be how to learn Python. If you want to search the syntax of how to declare a function, you will write how to declare a function in Python. and likewise. So here the function is, let's give it a name as fetch search result. So what this function will do, it will open the Chrome browser, it will enter the website URL, it will wait for the website to, like the web page to load, and once this is done, it will enter the search parameter and then hit the search button. So fetch search result will be the function here. Now there will be two data which will be required, like two values. Okay, so the first one will be the search engine which we want to hit, like we want to search our query in Google, we want to search our query in Bing, or we want to search in ask.com, or like whatever the search engine is. And then the next thing will be search query, like what we want to search. So this is the function fetch search result, and it will take two arguments. First is the search engine which we want to search, and the search query. So this is the definition of arguments. Now let's try to understand this with one small example. So let me declare a function here. So function names to, in Python, function names should start with def. Def stands for definition of a function. So let's take a result as search, as declared name SEARCH, search engine, and it will take two parameters. First is search engine, like the search engine which we want to search, and the search query. Okay, and what for now we will just print the search engine which we want to search and the search query, whatever. Let's print it first. Yeah, search. I will also show you how we can automate this via Python, but in my next video. For now, I will just showing you how to use a function and how to use an argument. So the search engine to use will be use is SE. For now, I am just declaring it as a random variable. Okay, and the search query to use is SQ. Okay, now what we have to do, now this is the function declared. Okay, so as I told you about a function, like function we can reuse multiple times. Okay, so that also I will show you. So this declaration of function is over. Now what we have to do, now function can't be used automatically, we have to call that function. So here we will call that function SEA, sorry for the search engine function, and we can directly pass it here. So the search engine will be, let's say, www.google.com. okay, and the search query will be, let's say, how to download Python. So this is it. Let's try to run it. So you can see here it has processed the function, so the function is running fine. So this is how we declare a function and how we reuse a function. Now I will show you the reuse. Like let's say in one of the place I wanted to search in google.com. Let's say at the other place I want to use some other function and my query is different. So what I have to do, same here. Okay, I can define it as, let's say, ask.com. Yes, ask.com, and my query can also be different. How to learn Python. Learn Python, and let's run this also. So as you can see, so this is how we can use the function, how we can pass the argument to it, and how can we use it based on multiple places, like wherever we require this function we can use it. So this was just a small demo. Now let's come to the other part of the arguments, which is args and k-args. So this was all about the arguments. Now let's come to the other part, which is like what type of arguments, like how Python enables us to accept the argument. Let's say if function is taking some arguments. Okay, so at a very generic level, we just saw like very simple, straightforward scenario. Let's say let's take a scenario of the same example. We want to search. There might be a scenario where we want to search multiple items. Okay, so at times we might know that yeah, we have to search 3 items or we have to search 4 items, but there can be scenario where there can be a user requirement where we are only not sure how many items we need to search. So how to handle this type of scenario, how to pass arguments where we are also not sure how many arguments will be passed. So for that, Python gives us a very cool feature known as single args. So that is called as args, single args. And there is one more feature which we called it as keyworded arguments, which is defined by double k args. Okay, so let's see one by one what's the difference and what are the different types of argument that Python supports. Let's say let's give the function name as single argument. Single argument. Okay, and since it is a single so what we will give is, let's give it as args. Okay, and just write so what we will do, like this will give you basically a list of arguments. Okay, so it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5. So we also don't know how many it will be. So what we will do, we will iterate it through for loop. Let's say for I in args. So in this case, in args it can be 1 also, 2 also, 3 also, or 10 also. Okay, or the other type of seeing this particular scenario is it can be one requirement also, 2 requirements also, or 3 requirements also, or the function, in one function there is only 1 requirement, in the other function it can be 3, 4, 5, 6 based on the requirement. So basically the reusability of code is also handled very well here. Now let's try to, like for us, let's print item to be searched. Okay, so items to searched. So what we will do, we will define it as I. Now what we need to do is, this is done. Now just pass the argument, call this function single arguments. Okay, and pass all your search query and it will be handled. Let's say our first query is how to learn Python. Okay, and one more will be how to learn Java. How to learn Java. And then one more will be, let's say, jobs in Python. Jobs in Python. And one more will be jobs in Java. Let's save it and let's comment this previous functions. Okay. Now let's try to run this. So you can see item to be searched as how to learn Python, how to learn Java, jobs in Python, jobs in Java. So similarly, we can simulate the same thing in Selenium. So that I will be showing in the next video. Now let's come to the other part, which is keyworded argument. So let's say we are automating a Facebook page. So Facebook page will have like to log in to the Facebook page. What's the 2 things which we need? First is the username and the password. But we don't know which is the, like when we are passing it. Okay, it can be a chance, okay, that we are passing username first and password last or password first or username last. Okay, like we can't explicitly expect the user to pass in this particular format. So how to handle this scenario? Okay, so what we will do, let's define one more function. Okay, so let's define it as def multiple, sorry, key arguments, like arguments with key arguments, and this we will define it by double asterisk since it's a keyworded argument. So this is how Python identifies is our this thing. Okay, so let's define it as credentials, or for short we are taking it as cred. Now this is coming as def key arguments. Define it as cred. Something wrong. Something open keyworded arguments. Let's say for skip print username is cred. Username is so this is it. Now what we have to call this function keyworded arguments, and let's say we want to pass it. So what we need to pass, let's say the username is, so these are the two fields. Name equals ABC, and let's take the password let's take the password equals XYZ, and let's try to run it. Let's see if it runs. So you can see username is ABC and password is XYZ. So this was basically the two types of arguments. So first is args. So args is basically non-keyworded arguments we can't pass in the form of dictionaries. And the other one is keyworded argument. So where what do we mean by keyworded argument is, like there will be one key and it will have some value. Let's say your name. So your name will be there and it will have some value, right? Like if in my case it's Ravi, in others case it will be Avinash or Abhishek, anything as a matter of fact. Similarly, password. So password will be like, it will be a field, but it will have some field value as well, right? So this is like for handling this kind of scenario, we are using KArgs. So now let's discuss the other point, which is sleep and time function. So what's the use of this sleep and time function? So by the name as it's suggests, sleep. So what it will do, let's say you want to execute something and then you want to suspend its execution or wait for something. Let's say you have opened some web page, google.com, but it might be a chance, right, that your internet is slow. So that web page will take some times to load, but meanwhile, like the browser hasn't opened and you're trying to search something, so that will not be a correct test case, right? So it's like you have to wait for some time and then feed your search. So in that case, time function or sleep function is very useful. So what basically it does is like it will suspend the execution of time with the given number of seconds which you are passing. So let's say I will just show you one example. So here it is, def let's say print name. Okay, and here what we will do, we will just pass some value and just print just one name. So here each case is hi, this is Ravi. Okay, we have executed it. Okay, now just run it. Okay, sorry. So you can see expected indent. Sorry. Yeah, sorry for the typo. Sprint and one spacing, save, and then run it. So okay, so what is the problem here? We haven't called the function. So like I said in the previous time, like it's not only about writing a function. Unless and until we call it, this thing will not execute. So now you can see. Now let's say I want to halt this for some time and then print my name. So just what we'll do, import time. Okay, this is the module which sleep has. Okay, now time dot sleep. Let's say we want to suspend this execution for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, I mean to say seconds, and then after this seconds, just run it. Okay, so see, it's waiting for 5 seconds. Okay, and then it's printing my name. So basically, where we want to wait for some actions. Okay, there we will use this time function. So hope this time and sleep is clear. Now let's move to the next item. Now the next part is exception. So exception can be defined as an unusual condition in program or code which results in interruption in the flow. Now, what happens when exception occurs? So, when an exception occurs, the program stops the execution and thus the further code is not executed. Therefore, it's very much required to identify all the runtime errors or the exception which can come. Okay, in the like whatever code you have written. So, let's take an example of Facebook. So, you want to log in a Facebook. So, you have given your username and you have given your password. So let's take the first scenario where your username is wrong and your password is correct. So a particular exception should come, right, that your username is wrong. In the other case, your username is correct, but your password is wrong. So in that case, the exception should come that your password is wrong. So it's very much required to identify all the scenarios which can come and handle it gracefully. So this is what Python does. Let's take a small example. Let's take this thing only. Okay, so what we have done, so this is the print name function which will print it. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's give the function name as wrong. So you can see we are getting a function like exception name error, name print name is not defined. Okay, now let's do one small change. Let's keep it this thing. Let's let's not import the time module and then try to run it. So in this thing, it will come as module not find error. So it's like very much required to identify all the like precondition, and then based on that we have to define the exception. So this was all about today's topic for Python with Selenium. I tried my level best to give you some knowledge with respect to Python concept with Selenium. So if you like the content, please subscribe to my channel and give a thumbs up. And yes, if you have any suggestion or feedback with respect to this video or any of my previous video, you can comment the same below, or you can send an email to the given email ID. And yes, thanks a lot again for watching this video. See you all soon in my next video.